knew my kids would grow up on the wrong side of the tracks. Whoop, oh, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Annabelle's with me today. Somebody's brother's cousin, uncle, twice removed in the school got the flu, and well, because common sense doesn't exist anymore, she has to stay home because somebody else has the flu. So, she's with Daddy today. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No, because I have scissors too.
I know.
Yes, you don't cut me because
Sure I do.
you're tied.
No, I do because I weigh more than you.
You're tied. Rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot. Well, you guys missed out on all that because I just did a bunch of talking without hitting the record button. Let me give you the highlight reel. The mill is really plugged right now. There's a lot of trucks down there, so Eugene's down there in line waiting, and I'm going to get this truck full and back down there again. As you can see, Annabelle's not with me. She had to go back home and do some homework and get some of her studies done. Even though I think she gets a better education than me anyway, but I'm just being biased. And I don't teach her all the good things. Anyway, corn is, give you an update on corn, has been going really well. Now this is only estimated because we don't have a yield monitor, but usually what I do is I use an app on my phone, it's a GPS app, and I can measure our distance. So yesterday I measured our total distance run, and then you multiply that times 15 feet. So let's just say 5,000 feet by 15 feet. And that gives you how many square feet you covered. Well, there's 43,560 square feet an acre. So when you figure that, and I know a full bin in her in this combine is about 255 bushels. You can divide it, get a rough idea of how many bushels in the acre you're doing. This field is doing about 190, give or take. And that is really good considering the corn is very, very dry. It's about 14.9 to 15% moisture, so actually it's a little too dry. We're losing a little bit of money because of how dry it is, but we got no choice but to grind through it. But I'm tickled to death with that because this field did not get a lot of nitrogen put on it. So this was kind of a test, if you will, where we wanted to see where our break-even point on adding nitrogen, our profitability, I should say, where adding more nitrogen obviously will give you more yield, but then you reach a point of diminishing returns, and you're creating yourself more work and more expenditures because the more corn you raise, the more you got to haul, the more you got to run with the machine. So all of that needs to be taken into account. Now, look, everybody loves a big crop, okay? Let's say we raise 300 bushels to the acre. But what did it cost you? Let's say it cost the same price of 250 bushels to the acre to raise that 300 bushels. All right, so your profit was 50 bushels. Let's say this is going 190, and I only put in the cost of about 100 bushels into it. Now my profit's 90 bushels, so your profit margin's better. So again, this goes back to when we were talking about finances on the farm. It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish on your farm. You want maximum profitability, or you need to show a lot of gross income because you have a lot of offsets in the year. You know, that you have a lot of expenditures. Everybody's tax situation is going to be different. So this was honestly a neat test to see. I think we ended up putting, on this farm, I think we ended up putting about 140 pounds of nitrogen. So we raised more bushels per pound of nitrogen than what they say is, not going to say is possible, but what they say. They say a pound of nitrogen is equivalent to producing 1 bushel of corn. Now there is free-living nitrogen in the organic matter in the soil. However, the organic matter in this field is not that high. This is a rather sandy field, and it's high. We're full. I don't know why I'm looking around. There are people up there. So anyway, we're grinding through it. are just a touch over 3/4 of a mile. It gets pretty boring in these long roads because there's not a whole lot to do. That's the load. That might be just a touch over legal limit. Just a touch. Like maybe, possibly, I don't know, 10,000 pounds, just a touch over. 5 tons. We're gonna send it. Super trucker engaged. Oh yeah, you guys notice my koozie? Let's see, can you read it? If you want to get a koozie like that, you have to visit PTP Gun. Well, one of the things I told you a while back was some of the people you meet when you're at the mills and you're waiting on trucks to get through the mill and everything else. And I'm here with David Hickman, who him and his brother own Dublin Farms down in Virginia, which is only about, what, 15 miles from here?
15 miles exactly.
And something interesting about Dublin Farms that you wouldn't expect here on Delmarva is they do 400 acres of potatoes. And then you also do
corn, soybeans, and green beans.
So corn, soybeans, green beans, and then 400 acres of potatoes. Now, I didn't know it when we started talking, but I'm actually talking with a celebrity. Mr. Hickman here was, in May of 2020, was invited to the White House to speak on behalf of farmers in a program that was called
the Food Box Program.
The Food Box Program. So he has actually shook the hand of the president.
Right. Yeah, we went up to discuss the Food Box Program because with all the restaurants closed that year, it really reduced the demand for potatoes and a lot of other produce. So the government started this program when the pandemic started and we were seeing all the fields in Florida being dished up because they lost their restaurant business. So the government came up with the Food Box Program, which not only helped save a lot of agricultural products that would have otherwise gone to waste, also helped feed a lot of people that were unemployed.
Now, I mean, you seem very comfortable on the camera because what you did that day at the White House was on
it was
national
on Fox,
media.
Fox News,
Fox
national
News.
media.
Well, why am I holding? You hold the camera. You know, you're better at this than I am.
No, you're doing the YouTube. I'm just interviewing here with you.
But this goes back to what I was talking about in previous episodes, was farmers are their own advocates, and they have to be. You know, farmers are multifaceted. Mechanics, they're agronomists, truck drivers. I mean, they do everything. And to just be standing out here talking and run into a farmer that's actually been to the White House advocating for agriculture and solving a problem that was really a worldwide problem.
Exactly.
Not just a national problem, but solving that problem and seeing it done here at the local level, I think is awesome. So thank you, sir. Sure. I appreciate it. And it was good talking with you.
Good talking with you. Nice meeting you.
All right, we got to get back to hauling grain.
See you.
There goes Eugene. All right, well, we're making our way across the field. Where we have made it so far across the field, the corn is changing a little bit as we get back here. The ground's a little wetter, so I just want to jump out and make sure that the combine is still doing a decent job, and also show you what it is that we look for in between header loss. The difference between header loss, which is corn being lost out of the front of the combine here, and corn that's making it through the combine and then out onto the ground. So as you can see, we've got kernels down here. Now, it's a little exaggerated because, you know, as I stop the header and back up, it's beating and banging some corn around rather than feeding it through. But, like, if we were to look back here, you can see, like, there's a kernel, there's a kernel, there's a broken kernel. So there are kernels throughout. It said 3 to 4 kernels per square foot across an entire acre would equal roughly 1 bushel of corn. So there we are hovering on that 3 to 4 kernels per square foot. So we're losing about a bushel to the acre across the entire farm out of the head. Now, that might not sound like much, but 56 acres is what this field is. 56 bushels times $5 a bushel, well, that's $300 we're losing. So yeah, we'd like to not lose it, but it's going to happen, especially when the corn is as dry as it is. So what I want to look at over here behind the machine is I'm looking for any cobs that still have corn on them. You should have a whole cob just like that, picked clean, and that's what I'm seeing everywhere. Now, I always look from the cab too on my previous pass. The other thing is dead center of the machine is where the sieves are at, and the sieves are what shake back and forth and allow the clean grain to drop down, go up the elevator on the side, and then up to the tank up there. So if we were overloading the combine, meaning I'm pushing too much corn through it, I'm driving too fast, we would see the corn right here. We would see the corn right down the center. So I want to look and see, do we have a higher amount of corn in the center of the field here behind the combine? And I don't see anything that would suggest that we are seeing anything other than header loss. There's actually only those two that I see right here. I only see these two. There's a little guy, there's a little one. But by and large, I'm not seeing anything alarming that suggests to me that we are pushing too much through the machine. So that's good. That's what you want to see, or not want to see, however you want to look at it. It's getting hard to see. My windows are getting so dusty, but we're done anyway. The Eugene's on his way back with the 6-wheeler, and the tractor trailer is full, as you can see. Now get up here so you can see it. There you go. Tractor trailer's full. So the only thing, and then now I got the combine full, and there's probably about 100 bushels worth of corn left in the field. So by the time he dumps this and that 100 bushels onto the 6-wheeler, it'll be full, and then this farm is done. And we'll tally it up and see what it did, but I'm thinking it did around 190 at 14.5 to 15.5%, which is phenomenal. Because if it was wetter, say 18 to 20%, it would probably have gone 220, 230, somewhere in there. There's a conversion you can do to figure out wet bushels versus dry, but it did very well, very well. All right, let's kill it. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, there's no sense in me bringing the blower over here and blowing the combine off, because Eugene's going to finish up. All that's left is just that little bit right there in the corner. There might be 100 bushels back there, if that. And then of course combine's full. So when he gets that done and emptied onto the 6-wheeler and calls me, I might come over, get the combine, and take it over to my house, because that's where we're going to be shelling at next. And I can blow it off over there this evening, or just do it in the morning. I prefer doing it before dew gets on it. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us today. Another full day. So thank you all for watching. Goodbye from Delmarva. Shorebilly Farmer, out. Beautiful.